the shadows, beyond the village, stood an abandoned noble house, vast, broken, and feared. Its stone walls had witnessed a century of silence. For within it lived a vampire with black hair as dark as midnight and eyes red as fresh blood. He had lived for over 100 years, long enough for rage to harden his heart. His presence alone was enough to make people tremble. No one dared come near him. Whispers called him a monster, a curse, a thing best left forgotten. 10 years passed like this, empty nights, endless loneliness. One afternoon, a human girl with brown hair and deep black eyes wandered beyond the village borders. Curious and brave, she discovered the abandoned noble house hidden by vines and decay. Drawn inside, she explored the dusty halls until her gaze fell upon a still figure lying in the shadows. A corpse. Or so she thought. Suddenly, the body moved. She screamed. Red eyes snapped open, burning with fury. The vampire rose, his presence heavy with anger and menace. Terrified, the girl ran, her heart pounding as she fled all the way back to her hometown without looking back. That night, she heard the villagers talking. The abandoned house, the aggressive vampire, the monster who lived alone. But instead of fear, something else stirred within her. The next day, she returned. This time, she came prepared. In her hands was a freshly dead rabbit, taken by old age. With shaking fingers, she placed it near the vampire and stepped back. The vampire stared at her, confused and irritated, but hunger won. He ate it. He did not chew her away. Startled by her own courage, the girl ran off again. And so, the routine began. Every few days, she would return with another offering. Each time, the vampire would eat. Each time, she would leave in a hurry. No words were exchanged, only silent understanding in the shadows of the noble house. Until one evening, the vampire finally spoke. "What is your name?" he asked, his voice rough from disuse. The girl froze but answered. That from that night on, they talked. He told her he did not like the rabbits she brought too dry, too plain, but he ate them anyway. She laughed nervously, and for the first time in 100 years, the noble house echoed with something unfamiliar. Not anger, but warmth. And though the world still feared the vampire with red eyes, one human girl saw not a monster but a lonely soul who had waited a century to be found. As nights passed, their conversations grew longer. The vampire began waiting for her footsteps, for the soft sound of her breath in the quiet halls of the noble house. What once felt like endless darkness slowly softened in her presence, without realizing it. The vampire who had lived 100 years without love fell for the human girl with brown hair and fearless black eyes. He tried to deny it. She was human, fragile, mortal. Yet she was the first soul who saw him not as a monster, but as someone worth staying for. The girl, too, felt her heart change. What began as pity turned into comfort, and comfort into love. She laughed with him, listened to his stories of forgotten centuries, and saw the loneliness behind his red eyes. Each time she returned to her village, the world there felt emptier. One night, she made her choice. She packed her belongings, left her hometown behind, and returned to the abandoned noble house. Not with fear, but with resolve. "I don't belong there anymore," she told him softly. "I belong here, with you." The vampire's red eyes widened not in anger, but in fear of losing her. He warned her of eternity, of hunger, of darkness, but she did not hesitate. "I choose you," she said under the pale moonlight. "Ed, turn it." Ed. When she awoke, her heart no longer beat, but she felt more alive than ever. Her black eyes shimmered with crimson. Her senses awakened, and her fears faded into the night. She was no longer a visitor in the noble house. She was home. Together, they lived beyond time to souls, bound by choice, not fate. The abandoned noble house became a place of warmth, no longer feared but quietly alive. And though the world never knew their story, in the shadows of eternity, the vampire who once lived in rage finally found love and never had to be alone again. They kissed under the full moon, happily ever